Judges, please turn your attention to the screen as we begin the first student's video.
A master in engineering innovation and entrepreneurship at Ryerson. 1 year earlier, I was the youngest board member of directors at Vodafone when I was 24 years old only. From someone who was getting paid 10 times more than his peers, to a normal international student working on a minimum wage job. I had to downgrade my life, leave my family, to embark on a journey when no one knows anything about me. I remember these hard times when I landed 1 month before COVID. And as for someone who doesn't know how to cook a proper meal, I used to order food online a lot, maybe daily, not knowing the best delivery option, and each time I wanted to search. And for every single time I wanted to save time on cooking, I wasted it on comparing between multiple delivery applications. It was crazy. So I went out to ask people and figured that an average user spends 26 minutes before deciding what food to order online. Because it's a bit overwhelming to know who's the best, who's the cheapest, who can get you food the fastest. And with COVID, a lot of restaurants started to self-deliver to save on the hefty food delivery applications that can go up to 30% as commission. Their sales almost dropped 67%. And this left me with so many food delivery options. Imagine if we can have a one-stop platform aggregating all food delivery options so users can simultaneously compare different delivery fees and time estimates with a single click, enabling you to pick the fastest, cheapest, or best food delivery deal in no time. This is exactly what I did to save $200 in the first month only. For end users, a better convenience, accessibility, only one application instead of downloading many, and a better transparency. We offered the first free commercial ordering platform for the local restaurants to help them during and post-COVID, as well as supporting food delivery applications to reduce their CAC by 95%, all while improving their retention rate. Because when we talked with these providers, we realized they pay a lot, from $5 to $10 to acquire a single customer. Yet 78% end up uninstalling the applications. And the reason is obvious. Users are never loyal to one application. They tend to go with the promo codes. They do not want to create different user accounts on multiple applications. That said, Buzz will act as the first marketing channel for the food delivery applications. Here's how it works. Start by searching for any food or restaurant you're craving. Compare between different delivery options. And at the end, we will show you how much exactly you have saved. As you can see, you can filter by the lowest fees, quickest delivery, or by distance. All options are available with a single click. If you press on View All Services, you can get to see all options from a single restaurant. Different delivery, fees, and time estimates as shown. And you get to choose whatever you want. Our product was developed in-house. We tested it with 20,000 users and 18 restaurants, generating 500 orders, and referred more than 400 users to the food delivery applications. This is our first product. Moving forward, we'll integrate other food delivery applications. And this is a screenshot from our mobile application. We can win the competition by positioning Buzz as a social brand, offering 0% commission, unlike other indirect competitors, a better accessibility and transparency. We only have one direct competitor operating in the US. Buzz is tackling 13 different food delivery options, while Foodboss is doing the same across only food delivery applications. We are going to expand to other categories that we have already validated. Not to mention that Foodboss is offering 15% commission from the local restaurants, and we offer 0% commission. Over the last 3 years, we have seen a growth in the number of food delivery applications, number of users, and self-delivery restaurants. And as per Statista, there is a growth of 9.3% in the next 3 years only. And this is why we totally believe it's time to start Buzz now. As a double-sided business, we are going to focus on students and young working professionals first, aging from 20 to 40 years old, and the TAM is 9.5 million. On the other hand, we penetrated the market by partnering with the local restaurants and ghost kitchens, mainly those that do not deliver through any other food delivery application, and they are using modern POS. Next, we are going to partner with the food delivery applications, the newly launched ones, to increase their market share, following by the acquisition of the top four players. Our go-to-market strategy focuses on inbound marketing, reverse engineer the process, and start where the customers are, then pull them to your platform. We tested this with Ryerson, and we are going to partner with more universities and large enterprises. In return, we are offering them exclusive deals. A dual posting feature will be launched to post Buzz on our partner restaurants, either on their website or physical stores. And we are going to focus on digital marketing activities to growth hack our product. A cashback referral program will be launched pretty soon to replicate the model of Ritual, but in the food delivery sector. The more you order, the more you can get digital points to be redeemed as discounts. We take only $1 from the local restaurants and $0.25 from the top delivery applications on each successful order. And we also help them to promote on Buzz. If we can reach 500K users, and we are going to explain this number in details, we are estimating a total of 24 million orders, given that a normal person orders at least 96 times per year. With a ratio of 70 to 30, we are estimating a total of $10 million in revenue projected by 2023. And our financial projections prove this number. And we totally believe that our team can turn this idea into a viable business. Let's talk with numbers. 20K visitors, 15K active users, 400 referrals and 250 orders, 200 subscribers, 47 restaurants with a CAC of $0.03, which is the lowest in the market, 30 food delivery deals from the top brands, and $12.5K in revenue, 26.5K in grant funds with 0% equity. Next, I'll leave you with some of the pitch competitions I've won, as long as some investment offers. These are some screenshots from Google Analytics. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want to save both money and time when ordering food online, I urge you to go to buzzfood.ca and start experiencing this today. Thank you so much.
It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop-down to ensure you send your questions directly to me, moderator Amy Kenyon. And while the questions start coming in, I'm going to have our students say their name to make sure their audio is working properly. Adam?
Yeah, hi, this is Adam.
Perfect. Thank you, Adam. I will now start the timer. Okay, Adam, the first question. If you're taking $1 from each of the restaurants are also giving up to 30% to Uber. Say, if the user selected Uber as the best option for them, so you're taking $1 from them and they're also giving 30% to Uber. Is that correct?
Not really. So I'm choosing the restaurants that they are self-delivering on their own, those that do not deliver through any other delivery application, which means that the profit margin in that case will be 100% dedicated to the local restaurants instead of losing the 30% commission taken from the food delivery applications. So, for example, if you have an order equivalent to $100, with Uber Eats, the restaurant owner will get $70, but with Buzz, he will get $99 because we take a fixed transactional fee in the first milestone, and then our business model and pricing model evolves based on the number of active users that we are having on our platform.
Perfect, thank you. Next question comes from Puya. How are you getting the data from other platforms like Uber and DoorDash? And what would you do if they cut off your access?
Perfect. I was expecting this question. And to be honest, as a start, because I was a student, I was seeking forgiveness, not permissions. So what I did is to scrap the data from the top delivery applications and prove to them that I can refer the most qualified customers at the lowest CAC. So we have 5 undisclosed deals with the top delivery applications in Toronto, operating in Toronto, and they will allow us to get the free API integration to be connected on our platform. So everything will be reflected in real time. And think about it as any model operating in the travel industry. Kayak, Skyscanner, and similar services. They are aggregating all the flight tickets and the accommodation options with the free API integration with the hotels and the flight accommodations. So exactly the same way will be replicated in the food delivery sector with Buzz.
Great, thank you. And okay, the next one comes from John. It's a 2-part question. So first part is the fee charged on top of the normal delivery fees? And the second part, what happens post-COVID when online restaurant orders drop?
So, sorry, can you repeat the first part of the question?
Yeah,
please?
is the fee charged on top of the normal delivery fees?
I didn't quite understand the question.
So I think the question is your fee, your $1 fee on top of the normal delivery fees?
No, it's like, as I said, with this example, so in the case of the self-delivery restaurants, for example, they are hiring delivery agents and they are paying for them like way less than Uber Eats and the other applications. We take $1 from the total order. It's not more than what they are paying. The same exact way is functioning with the delivery applications. We are not charging more $1 from the end user's side, but we are taking only $0.25 on each successive referral.
Perfect. And what about part 2? What happens post-COVID when online restaurant orders drop?
So I've been thinking and questioning myself the same thing, and I have been conducting some research with the business owners, the local restaurant owners. So before COVID, there was no other alternative for these restaurants, right? So once they found the solution, they will stick with it because instead of giving away 30% commission, now they are hiring a certain number of delivery agents and they are saving on the hefty food delivery applications. So in my personal opinion, the number will keep increasing as per our primary market research and our data validation. In the worst case scenario, if the self-delivery restaurants stop this initiative, our main concern or our main idea was to aggregate the food delivery applications and end the app hopping thing. So instead of manually comparing, you'll have only one application. So post-COVID, I think that the self-delivery restaurants will remain the same and the food delivery applications will keep increasing because in a fragmented market like the food delivery, there will always be new players and new variety for the end users.
Perfect. Okay, the next question comes from Veer. For stage 2, when you add the food delivery apps, please explain the costs to the restaurants.
Perfect. So when adding the food delivery applications, the end user will have all the options from a single restaurant. So let's say I want to order from McDonald's. I will get all the food delivery applications that they are delivering through McDonald's. And if McDonald's is self-delivering, I will get the price of the self-delivery fee. As a user, I'm 100% free to choose whatever I want. And from a business side, I charge based on the transaction. So if the transaction came to the self-delivery restaurant, I'm charging $1. If the transaction came from the food delivery applications, I charge only $0.25. And just to explain this more, our pricing model will evolve over time. So these numbers, we came with these numbers when we closed the deals with our partners based on the number of active users that we currently have, the 20K active users. Moving forward, once we reach the 100K active users, the price will be as a sliding curve. So the self-delivery restaurants are willing to pay up to $2.5 from $1 to $2.5, and and the food delivery applications will pay from 0.25 to $1.5 on each successful order, based on the number of active users and the number of referrals of buzz to these applications.
Great, thank you. Next question comes from Michelle. How are you saving users time deciding what food to order online?
So as a user, I personally face this problem. You have 13 different applications, right, in Canada, operating in Toronto mainly. So if you want to click or to pick the cheapest, you have to go on each single application and compare the fees and the time estimates. Instead of doing this, like when I boiled down the situation, I probably had two options. First option is to manually compare. Second option is to get a database aggregating all of these applications into one place. So you type McDonald's, they tell you the cheapest is from this service, the fastest is from that service. So instead of spending 26 minutes, which is the average time a user spends before deciding what food to order, and this number was taken out of our primary market research when we interviewed more than 1K students at Ryerson. So this 26 minutes will be minimized to only 1 minute, which is the current duration per session as per our Google Analytics account. So our duration is currently 51 seconds, which means that we allow the user to decide 26 times faster than before.
Great. The next question comes from John. When is the beginning of year one in your projections, and what has happened since then to now?
The year one is 2021. And by the end of 2021, we are estimating to reach at least 100 self-delivery restaurants. We currently have only 47, and our goal is to reach 100 by the end of this year. And then we are going to aggregate the other delivery applications. And then by the end of 2022, we are estimating to be covering all GTA. And then we are going to have a vertical and horizontal expansion. Vertical all around Canada, and horizontal expanding to other category services that we have already validated.
Great. The next question comes from Karine. So who is actually delivering the food? If you're not using Uber Eats or other companies, is it only the restaurants that are delivering themselves that are available, which is very limited?
We currently have 170 local restaurants offering their own self-delivery in Toronto, and the number is exponentially growing. In Canada, we have more than 500 restaurants. So as I said, these restaurants, instead of going to the food delivery applications, they realize they can hire 2 to 3 delivery agents, and they can cover the amount of orders they are getting. So they pay for this student or this driver like a minimum of $5 per order, and they pay $1 as a fixed transactional fee for Buzz. So if we are talking about the same example, the $100 average order, they take $94 at the end of the day instead of taking only $70 if they do it with Uber Eats and similar services.
Perfect. The next question comes from Michelle. How do you stop users from using your service to see where is the cheapest and then going directly to the source?
Oh, right. So that's a good question, but the thing is, everything changes in real time. You don't know whom delivers from what restaurant and what they charge and the hidden fees behind this. So for example, if you open Uber Eats now, you will have a list of restaurants. The next 5 minutes, these restaurants, maybe they will be changed. The price will change because they charge the user according to the number of orders, the availability of the drivers, and they use a surging price model, which like a dynamic model, they change a lot. So you as a normal user, it's impossible to keep comparing all of that manually and keep an eye out on the 13 food delivery applications. You can do it, but you will spend like 30 minutes at least to do that. And the other solution would be downloading Buzz, only one application instead of downloading all of that. And just as the model of Skyscanner and Kayak in the travel industry, but now operating in the food delivery sector.
Great. Now I've got a couple of questions from two judges, Veer and Pomache, very similar. What are your barriers to entry? How will you protect your business from other individuals replicating and improving your business model?
The first part of the question, what for the entry? I didn't.
What are your barriers to entry?
Yeah. So mainly my main concern or my main risk was not having enough food delivery applications operating. So if that is the case, users will not have a wide variety of options, right? Until the acquisition of Uber Eats happened, they acquired Postmates. And from now and from this moment, everything changed because I realized that there will always be new players in the market. And although there will be new acquisition, they left Postmates with the brand and the number of users. They didn't change the name. They didn't close Postmates. And from an end user perspective, you still have all of these options. So this risk could be mitigated because the acquisition will be the same. And at the end of the day, Postmates is winning at certain locations. Uber Eats is dominating on other locations, and this is how the food delivery sector is operating. The second one will
Your
be
time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Adam El-Kadem. Judges, we're going to give you a couple of minutes as we bring in the next student, so please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started momentarily.
Hello, everyone.
Judges, please join me in welcoming Azadeh Dasmalchi from the University of Ottawa. Please open their report from the link in your email and scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Judges, you will now have 3 minutes to review the report. Judges, please turn your attention to the screen as we begin the next video.
All of us has experienced rising in our blood pressure. For example, when we have a job interview, or me right now giving this pitch. These rises are normal, but in some people become serious and need to be addressed. Hi, my name is Azadeh. I'm CEO of the Vital Tracer, and today I'm presenting you Vital Tracer, a medical smartwatch for people with a high blood pressure. 1.56 billion of people globally suffer from high blood pressure. This includes 80% of elderly, and it's still first reason of death. Canada alone spending $250 billion annually to treating this chronic disease. The current devices available in market are cuff-based. Cuff goes around the arm, inflate and deflate. It's inconvenient, bulky, and not possible to continuous monitoring. Different studies show that it's possible to prevent it by diagnosing it at the early stage, but it needed technology to frequently or continuously monitoring the blood pressure. That's why the solution became a Vital Tracer, a medical smartwatch which is measuring all your vital signs through your wrist. So it's not only limited to the measuring blood pressure, but also it can measuring oxygen saturation, skin temperature, respiratory rate, and more. That's why we call it all-in-one technology. And I need to emphasize that it's like an Apple Watch, but it's a medical grade and it's measuring the blood pressure continuously. It's a perfect solution for remote health monitoring, especially during pandemic and for senior homes who needs to monitor all the seniors at the same time in a real time. And the story starts from my dad, which diagnosed with a high blood pressure or hypertension 12 years ago. And his medical doctor asked him to measure his blood pressure 3 times, and he never used the cuff-based device. He found it very uncomfortable and not easy to install and user-friendly. That's why at the same time I started my master thesis at University of Ottawa and thought that that's a good topic for my thesis. It's starting in 2010, the project. And right now on the left side you can see the technology of the watch, and we have also the patch for the chest to monitor all vital signs continuously and without cuff. And on the right side, you can see the manufacturing phase and commercialized version of the technology. So how it works, it has different optical sensor and other sensors at the back side. It's measuring all biosignals, sending with the Wi-Fi or Bluetooth to the smartphone, and from smartphone to the online cloud. It's easy to share with the family doctor and or caregiver. Nursing also at the nurse station can see all the patient at the same time, and in case of abnormality it can alert. We have an extensive team of experts, including myself, who has a 12 years experience in biomedical area, AI, and wearable technology. My co-founder, Zara, she has a PhD in AI as well. Our CTO, Ali, has a 5 patent regarding his innovation for medical devices. And Abuzar has a master in internet security, and our CBO and a mobile app chief officer. Our revenue model, we're not selling our technology only based on the hardware, but we also have the SaaS model, and different model would have a more features or not. But the other main advantage, we definitely could license our technology in terms of hardware and or software to the other companies like telemedicines and other technology, like even selling the license to the Fitbit or Apple. Our main value and differentiation between us and Apple and Fitbit are we are a medical device, the accuracy is guaranteed, and we are measuring blood pressure that they don't have it right now, and it's patented. So we are selling to the senior homes and hospitals who needs to monitor lots of seniors at the same time, and lots of patients at the same time in case of abnormality alert. But we need to be a medical grade, so the process of FDA is going to take long to have a real revenue. But meanwhile, we find that we could sell our technology as is to the researchers so they can concentrate on their own medical application. We will have a niche market, but they will publish a paper and we will have a very good publication and credibility. We have a 500 pre-ordered this year alone due to COVID, that lots of researchers found that they want to add vital signs in their medical application, like sleep apnea, even COVID tracking, even for people with chemotherapies process, so and sleep and dementia. For this year's, our revenue is going to be around $500,000, but it's going to be double each year when we receive, of course, our Health Canada approval and FDA. We have 2 patents regarding our innovation, one for cuffless blood pressure monitoring using AI technology, an optical sensor, and the other about the accuracy of calibration free of our oxygen saturation. We have a very huge differentiation between us versus Apple, that we are medical grade. All the parameters, the accuracy, same as medical parameters. We are B2B. We are selling to the hospital and senior homes. Very different target market. We could localize our cloud for the hospital and senior homes so they can keep all the confidential information for them. So this is the big differentiation and clearance. And by the way, they are not concentrating on hypertension patients or chronic patients. Very different target market, and they are selling to the individual as well. What we have done so far, that we established a company, starting doing R&D, learning also about entrepreneurship. Then we run a pilot study, small, and then we were able to raise $1 million non-dilutive, all grants and love money. Then we did our patent. Right now we are opening our round for seed money for $3 million, pre-manufacturing and working with regulatory for Health Canada. And of course we are doing clinical trial in Montreal and scale up. This is how we are going to spend our money on the FDA regulatory, pre-manufacturing, clinical trials, R&D, and more. With the viral tracer, your health's going to be in your hand, or better yet, on your wrist. Thank you.
It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop-down to ensure you're sending your questions directly to me, moderator Amy Kenyon. And while the questions start coming in, I'm going to have our students say their name to make sure their audio is working properly. Azadeh?
Yes. Thank you for having me today.
Thank you, Azadeh. I will now start the timer. Okay, and we've already got some questions. The first one is from Veer. Is your cloud HIPAA certified, and how are you addressing regulatory compliance?
Yes, we have a HIPAA from our cloud, but the other things that I want to mention, that we are selling to the hospital and senior homes, and we are localize our cloud for them. So we are going to use their servers, and all the information is going to keep in their servers. We don't keep the confidential information for ourselves. The only things that we are using, we are training and validating our algorithm based on their server, and just increase the accuracy of our parameters and algorithms.
Great. The next question is from Priya. Why do you own hardware? What does your hardware have that Apple or Samsung watches cannot include, or at least make up for lower accuracy using AI?
Right. So the reason that we built our hardware, the project started in 2010, and In 2015, we approached Samsung, Fitbit, Jawbone, Samsung, Apple, all of them to give us their raw signal so we can only concentrating on our software, which is AI, and all of them rejected. So they were not sharing their hardware in terms of the buy signals that we had it. And the other things that Apple Series 6, which is very recently, they start having the IR and red, and we were starting using the infrared and red optical sensor for our blood pressure. So they did not have it. But right now, one of our exit strategy is to validate our technology based on their hardware and then selling the license to them.
Great. Next question is from John. Other than potential patents filed, how else are you mitigating risks of other established smartwatches dominating this medical market opportunity?
There is two parallel things that we are doing at the same time. So we are building our patent portfolio and at the same time running a different clinical trial on children and adults at the ICU level and other situation like people with the different pigmentation color. We are trying to have our big database and patent portfolio and going to sell our license to the bigger companies like Apple, Fitbit, Samsung. Samsung already approached us and we are in a negotiation for the only blood pressure patent that we are talking, but we are also interested with the Fitbit and Xiaomi. This is one thing. But the other way that we are not only concentrating on the watch, but we are working with the other wearable like a patch on the chest or on the neck. And these are the other technology that we are using for infant and ultrasound sensor base to have a targeting differentiation in our pipeline for the next years.
Great. Next question, have you spoken with hospitals and seniors' homes to validate the price points that you spoke about during the presentation? Sorry, that question was from Preston.
Yes, we are right now working with the MUHC and we are in the negotiation with the Jewish Hospital and we are in the St. Justin Hospital for children and seniors. For the Jewish hospitals, we are working with the residents, senior homes of them and we are in the middle of running one pilot study at the Sherbrooke Senior Home as well.
Great. Next question comes from Veer. Please explain the cost model to the hospital or the researcher. Is the intent that they will buy the devices and a subscription and will reuse the devices as patients are discharged?
Right. Yes, the technology, the hardware can be reusable for patient to the patient and SaaS model that they can refresh their patient name and or other information. So how it is work right now, we are selling the MVP as you can see in here. So it's it's based on the 3D framework. It's not fancy, but we are selling to the researchers and they are happy with it. The cost is only $50 for us, but we are selling as a $1,000. The reason that other competitors in the research area are starting from $2,000 US dollars. So we give them, it's like an open source as a hardware and software for them, and they are very happy with it. We are exposing to the other pharmaceutical to adding this technology for their own clinical trials. So we have a 100% margin for the researcher right now, but then we go to the manufacturing, the price would be much more different and higher as a medical device. They're in the mass production, the product gonna produce for 150, but still we are gonna sell it as a medical device for $1,000.
Okay, great. The next question comes from Mohammed. What are the barriers faced in filing patents for your measuring device?
So we have one patent regarding our innovation in the blood pressure using optical sensor and AI technology, but it's getting harder and harder if we want to expand the AI algorithm, because the AI algorithm is based on the flowchart, and when we publish it, the other competitors then can play with it and change it a bit and see that if they can get the accuracy. So it's always very challenging to complete the patent portfolio to close all the barriers from the franchising the patent and also make sure that it's covered. But we are in the hand of the very well-known law firms called Faskin and they are expert in patenting AI algorithms.
Okay. In the B2B model, is the membership cost covered by the hospital or the patient?
For the B2B, it's going to covered by hospitals and all the expenses going to be reimbursable through the insurance. And for home care monitoring, it's going to be half insurances and half from the government.
That's great. And a second part to that question from Charles, have you received interest from insurance companies that offer life or medical coverage?
Yes, we are in a contact with the insurances outside of Canada, which is on US for seniors at the senior homes. But we are still doing, approaching different insurances in Canada as well, because our first market would be local, which is going to be Canada, and then we will move. And we are starting learning about the US market recently.
Okay. Next question comes from Mohammed. How do you plan on increasing the revenue and profitability in the coming years?
Right. So for this year, we won't have, we are going to receive our Health Canada and FDA in the next 8 months. During this 8 months, we are only selling to the researchers and academic. So we hired one people for the sale and the other in marketing to approach this different institute. But at the same time, we are getting exposing to the publicity, lots of articles and the news to get approaching the researchers. But the next year, we are going to receive the Health Canada and FDA approval to approach the hospitals and senior home at the same time. But we are still going to them and introduce ourselves to build the trustable relationship with them.
Okay. The next question comes from Lisa. Can the watch easily be sterilized without harming the technology so that it can move on to the next user?
Yes, of course. It's waterproof and water resistant. So and we have a procedures to how to wash it and wipe it with the different material to make sure that it's clean totally.
Excellent. The next question comes from John. What is the year-to-date revenue and are the deposits made on pre-orders?
Yes. So our revenue, we already have a niche revenue because we have a niche market, but it's going to be increased each year. Is going to be double for the couple of next 3 years, and then it's going to be scale up, of course.
Great. We're just waiting. There are no more questions at this moment, so just give us one moment as a day.
Sure.
See if any more come through. Yes, John has asked to respond to the second part of his question. Are there deposits made on the pre-orders?
That's right. Yes, it does. Because we are giving them a 30% discount for the pre-orders. That's true.
Okay, great. Another question here from Charles. What is the expected lifespan of the watch, hardware and software?
May I have the question again?
Yes. What is the expected lifespan of the watch, both the hardware and the software?
Right now, the lifespan is 2 years, but we do the warranty up to 3 years. So they can pay $65 for the warranty for 3 years. And if something's happened during this, we are gonna replace it with the new version of the watch for free.
Great. A question here from Veer. Are you exposing APIs to allow researchers to other companies to build apps that integrate with your AI model?
Yes, definitely. We already have 2 partners who they have their own cloud and their own customers, and we gave them SDK or API. Both of them works totally with us.
Amazing.
But it goes through the legal documents through our law firms to sign a partnership officially. Yes.
Okay. Question from Sean. You spoke to the $1,000 price for the watch. Do you see any ways to reduce the manufacturing cost and subsequent price?
Yes, of course. If we go to the having a monthly 1 million units per month, it's gonna be gradually dropped. But right now we are in the very beginning of it, and I need to also emphasize that there is a high potential possibility that we sell our or license our go to the exit market or selling our license of the patent to the other bigger companies verbal.
Okay. There are no more questions right now, so we'll just hold for one more second in case a couple more come through.
Sure. I have one thing to add up if you need that we have in our pipeline. It's not only watch, but it's also patch for infant and newborns. That's going to be on a chest. And then it would be another patent sensors based on the ultrasound, which is miniaturized. And we are doing 3 patents.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Azadeh Dasmachi.
Thank you very much.
Judges, we will now have a scheduled break. Please ensure you are back at your screens. We did say 2:10, so if you could just take a quick 2-minute break, that would be fantastic. Judges, please turn your attention to the screen for the video presentation.
We're Hairstrong, and we're here to empower women to move on their own terms while revolutionizing the fashion industry with this adjustable hairband. There are 2 billion people in this world with long hair, and I'm one of them. Growing up, I always thought my hair was the problem when elastics broke, snapped, damaged my hair, because these were advertised as one size fits all. So why didn't it fit me? I internalized these frustrations and thought that I was the problem. But in reality, it was the products, and I'm not the only one who's felt this way. Here's what other women have to say after trying Hairstrong.
This thing ain't moving.
If you have hair on your head, you're gonna wanna listen and check this out.
I'm here to talk to you about a product that has literally changed my hair game.
It's an amazing product, the Hairstrong band.
I've been wearing a Hairstrong band now for about a year, and this product is amazing.
For years, I've struggled with figuring out how to tame this beast during a workout.
Problem solved. You can adjust it and it keeps your hair in place your entire workout.
It's seriously revolutionary. This technology is so cool. It pulls on my hair in the right spots so that you don't get that headachy pain from having your hair up all day.
You never want to go back to another hair elastic again.
So whether I'm being active or I'm literally laying in bed in my ponytail, this hair does not go anywhere.
I just put it up. I can adjust it, make it tighter.
This thing?
Professional and Olympic athletes all rely on Hairstrong to keep their hair up through training and competing, like Rebecca Marino from the Canadian national tennis team and Kristen Bujanowski from the Canadian Olympic bobsled team. What we've done is we've created an adjustable toggle on the product for the perfect fit every single time. So no matter what activity you're doing, whether it's sprinting or doing chores all day, it's durable in the sense that it'll keep your hair up through anything. And it's sustainable because it'll function at this high level time and time again. How much do you really save with hair ties? Our product is priced at $19.99, and it's a reliable standalone accessory. So you don't have to purchase other add-ons to complement it to keep your hair up. And you're able to save time because you don't have to constantly readjust your hair throughout the day or look for alternatives. And it comes in a variety of colors, so it matches your personal preference. A 27-pack of hair ties from Goody only costs $10, but you need to spend on other hair accessories because this won't reliably keep your hair up alone. You need to replace them frequently because they get easily lost or broken, and you need to purchase repair products from the damage that the elastics cause your hair. The average woman in the US spends $168 on hair accessories a year, and with the purchase of just one Strong Band, you could save $150. 2 billion people in the world cannot fit into this one elastic size. And you need something for daily hair management, otherwise your hair gets in your face, your mouth, and in your way. We hate the fact that 550 million hair ties are purchased every single year in the US, with most of them being lost or broken before even being used, which is why we're focused on quality over quantity. And we wanted to take advantage of the trend of scrunchies coming back as a friendly alternative for non-damaging way to keep your hair up. But we wanted to take it that one step further. The global market size for hair ties and accessories is $20 billion. In Canada, 40,000 search queries are made a month for a hair tie or scrunchie to work out in. We can capture 2 to 3% of this in 2 years and get a revenue of $500,000. We compared Hairstrong with other companies that are providing hair alternatives for the hair tie. And we found handmade options, which are high quality and non-damaging options. However, where we really stand out is this adjustable aspect. This adjustability of our product is able for it to be durable, reliable, and efficient, which no other product can do. And Hairstrong has me as their CEO, which is a huge value add. In terms of our positioning, we are a premium, high-quality product that's able to outlast any other product on the market. And we've priced ourselves in between brands that use their branding as their strength suit to sell their products, such as Lululemon or Chelsea King scrunchies. But they still offer that one-size-fits-all alternative. Meanwhile, we don't. And that's what really sets us apart. We're really able to offer that high quality and high customizability for each person at a high scale. So we've developed 3 different sizes to accommodate for the different hair types, styles, and textures. And each size is able to be adjusted down to the millimeter for that perfect fit every single time. Our business model is 90% direct to consumer and 10% wholesale. We've calculated a $280 customer lifetime value over a 3-year period, and we have a 3.08 conversion rate on our website, which is 1.3% higher than industry average. We have 7% of our top customers spent over $100 in the past 2 years, and our average order value is $38. As a solopreneur, I brought on one of the best advisors to curate and attend to each pillar of the business, from finance to accounting to R&D. With my strong track record and work ethic, I've been able to acquire partners like the Clear Angels program provided by ClearBank and Propel from Western University, because they're banking on me as an entrepreneur and on this business to succeed. To date, we've generated over $100,000 of revenue. In our first year, our gross profit was 67%. But then with COVID, we had to pivot and change manufacturers twice and bring everything from in-person to online, which brought our costs way up. Then we are now able to project back to a gross profit of 69% by curating relationships with our suppliers, manufacturers, and increasing awareness online. In 2021, we believe we can achieve the $100,000 mark by listing on Amazon, because 49% of searches begin on Amazon. And we're focusing on the processes and systems put in place to increase our organic search onto our website, to increase our monthly visitor rate from 1,500 people to 4,000 organically. In 2022, we plan on going back to trade shows and marketplaces to educate people and have people feel the difference that the Strong Band has over every other product. And we plan on increasing our advertising spend and acquiring partnerships with various sport leagues and jobs such as the military and the police force. In 2023, we plan on increasing the amount of wholesalers we have to 100 and introducing a new product. This is the year we expect to have 30 orders a day, which we will then outsource our fulfillment to a fulfillment center. In 2024, we are focusing on a hard expansion into the US market and partnering with fitness brands like Peloton and CrossFit. And towards 2025, further partnerships in other industries other than fitness, like hospitality and hotels. We want to be known as the brand for the best hair accessories in the world, to then be acquired by big brands such as Lululemon or Gymshark, who focus on quality. So help us get rid of this one size fits none and help us bring this product to fit you and everyone around you. Thank you.
It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop down to ensure you're sending your questions directly to me, moderator Amy Kenyon. And while the questions start coming in, I'm going to have Nicole say her name just to make sure her audio is working properly. Nicole?
Hi, I'm Nicole.
Thank you. I will now start the timer. Okay, so some questions here. First one from Veer. What is the barrier to entry from large manufacturers like Nike and Lululemon?
There's a barrier in terms of product development and getting the right design in place to produce this. This product is currently being handmade, so it doesn't fit to be automated as well as all their other products. So it would take a bit longer to release and to have it into the market.
Great. Next question comes from Karine. How did you calculate $280 LTV if your product is meant to last for a long time?
So based on our previous data from the years, we've had people repurchasing 1 to 2 times per year. Also in this calculation is the amount of referrals that the people bring in through word of mouth or through buying for other people as well. Okay.
Next question comes from Puya. If your customers can save $160 a year by using you, how can they have a 280 LTV over 3 years? So maybe that's the same question, actually.
So what we found is that even though you only need one strong band per year and it will last you that whole time, we found that with releasing new colors and new sizing, people still keep coming back because they want to grow their collection. So it's more of a desire. We targeted the desire more than the need at that point.
Okay. Question from John. What are the leading indicators you use on a weekly basis to track and make sure you're hitting your monthly sales revenue targets?
Yep. So one of them is our average order value. We have goals to increase the average order value from $38 to $42 by the end of the year. Another one is our monthly visitors. So we want to make sure that every day we're hitting at least 50 organically. And then we tailor our social media strategies to try and increase this on day to day and align it with our goals. So for example, some months will have like different giveaways. This month in May, we're celebrating our 2-year anniversary. So we're having a huge giveaway and a push for that. We're also making sure that our presence online is bigger than normal in terms of being around for different trends and ensuring that we're top of mind for people to come to our website. And then another metric that we measure is our conversion rate. Since already submitting the presentation, we've already increased our conversion rate from 3.08 to 3.24.
Great. The next question comes from Veer. Why are you prioritizing the self-pursuit option over the partnership strategy? And that includes Peloton, which you've included as much later.
So because this product can be made by others, so there's not a patent on it, which means that the branding is a huge aspect for that. And to be credible, I would need to partner with other brands that would bring that credibility up so that when people think of Hairstrong, they think of these other credible brands like Peloton and like CrossFit.
Okay. Next question from Lisa. How will you prevent your product riding the 1980s scrunchy wave and then fizzling out when the trend dies? Do you have any other styles in mind to stay on trend?
So since first launching, the only reason I put the fabric on the outside is to reduce the pressure that the elastic has around your hair so it doesn't damage it. It originally wasn't supposed to be a scrunchie. Since then, I've been able to design 2 other sizes with less fabric on the outside to emulate more of like a classic sleek look. However, more options right now are being in the design so that we keep on innovating. So it's not just the scrunchie trend. We want to make sure that we consistently provide options that aren't just with trends, but another way to keep your hair up that's adjustable and fits you.
Perfect. Next question comes from Preston. How are your margins and overall profitability impacted as you expand more into wholesale?
So online, our gross margin varies depending on the order size of the cart because majority of the cost of sales comes from the shipping and the fees on the website. When those costs get taken away once you go through wholesale. So the shipping gets reduced because you only pay less per unit when you order in bulk than you would normally on just like selling 1 or 2 through the website. So those costs get significantly decreased, as well as there's this another aspect of availability and accessibility. By going to stores, especially around London, that's what I've been pushing. I ship it myself, so I save on shipping costs and I increase the accessibility to the product so that I also include as like a marketing tactic more than for sales within the wholesale distribution route.
Okay, great. Another question from Lisa. Will you be patenting the adjustable feature on the scrunchie, and how will you prevent others from copying this?
So the reason why I didn't go down the patented route was for a few things. So when I first started, the first thing I wanted to do was get it patented because I thought this was super cool and innovative, and no one really has done this before. But when I looked into it with a lawyer, there had been a few patents earlier that have been similar, not the exact same and not the exact mechanism, but similar enough so that it may not pass the non-obvious feature of the patent test. So I didn't have enough financing to fight and get the patent for up to a 7-year period. I then looked around and figured out that this same mechanism is found on rain jackets. So when you cinch at the bottom to make sure that rain doesn't get in, it's the same thing there. This I still view as my MVP, and I still think that it should be better and it can be better. So if people do start to copy it and start to see copycats on the market, I should already be on my next product and be that one step ahead so that I'm not solely relying on this feature, because this adjustable mechanism is found somewhere else so that it can be also brought to another product and bring that one step forward.
Great. Next question comes from Mohammed. What makes your hair strong unique from others? What type of quality metrics are you using for your product?
Most other products are mass produced at a one size fits all. So there's this one elastic that people are constantly relying on the elasticity of it to stretch. So time and time again, you would loop it in your hair, and then over time, the elasticity would loosen, therefore not working as well. With our product, we have this clasp that is the unique factor that allows you to continuously change the size of it time and time again. So even if the elastic loosens, you're still able to tighten it to that spec that it allows you to function daily without having hair get in your face. The fabric on the outside is also sweat wicking, durable, and stretchable, so it lasts for a very long time as opposed to other scrunchies that might rip or break. And the cord that we use is actually a durable bungee cord, which is not available on other one size fits all products because it's not the cheaper option of elastic to use.
Great. Question from Charles. What is your social media marketing strategy? Are you using influencers to promote the product?
So over the past 2 years, I've been able to test and trial different things that had worked for Hairstrong. At the beginning, I really tried to push the organic influencer route, but in terms of that, it's very crowded space. So instead of having small micro influencers push the product out to their channels, which if they do is a bonus, I've basically been using influencers to create content for me because I'm the only one running like all of the daily operations. I get fresh content in from different my ambassadors and influencers to post and promote on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. What I've been trying to do for the past few months is see how advertising would play in. However, when I ran advertising for 2 months, the cost of customer acquisition was $12 a unit. And so for an average order value of $38, that's 31%. So it didn't make sense to keep on going with the advertising route until I made it more efficient. So now what my push is to increase that organic search that people would have coming to the site by investing into the SEO and searchability of my website on Google and going on to Amazon because like I said in the presentation, 49% of product searches begin on Amazon and the rest on Google. So if I don't show up there for what my product is, I'm losing out on customers already. So after I've done investing and growing into this organic search methodology, I will then be reinvesting back into ads so that the ads complement that organic search and I then have more credibility.
Fantastic. Question from John. What is your exit strategy and how are you positioning yourself for it currently?
So right now, I'm trying to position this brand as the best alternative for a hair product in your hair as the most functional, most reliable, and the least damaging. It's also a very sustainable option. So compared to something that's like one size fits all that everyone has, not a lot of people have this, and this is very special to them. How I want to exit is to get acquired by a brand that embodies these same values, such as Lululemon. They're making products that not only caters to fitness, but to the everyday lifestyle. So you're comfortable, you're functional, and you're productive every single day.
Great. A question from Sarah. Can you repeat the advertising channels that are working for you now and how you plan to expand your marketing plan in 2021?
Yep. So at the beginning of this year, I strongly pushed Instagram and Facebook as in terms of putting out ads and getting cold traffic to my website. For the first month, it worked very well because I had a load of content and I had a lot of different creative assets to work off of. But after that month and then another 2 weeks, the results started going down because I ran out of content. So this is when I realized that I needed to have a sustainable source of content being produced, which is why now I'm focusing on investing into those influencers and ambassadors to produce the content for me. And so I have repeatable content to use so that these advertisements can still keep performing well. And within the end of 2021, a very big push will be Black Friday. Last year's Black Friday, I was able to produce my first 5-figure month. This year, I plan on doing more than that with an increased advertising spend with what I've learned already in the beginning of this year, and then push into more advertising on Google and then Amazon.
Great. Another question from John. Have you done any A/B testing or studies to include shipping costs versus charging extra for it?
Yes. So for the first year and a bit, I offered free letter mail shipping. So I covered the fee to get it shipped from me to the customer. And because I was able to flatten it in the envelope, I could send it in as letter mail and it would be minimal shipping costs. But now where I have the problem is if I want to offer the customers tracked shipping, that's why I run into issues with the pricing because it doesn't fit into the current pricing model if I just bought one or two. So what I've done now is now people pay for the letter mail shipping, and I include an extra $1 or $2 in there to cover those who want tracked shipping. So how it'll work is that under $40, the customers will pay $3.99 for letter mail. Over $40, customers will pay $6.99 for tracked, and the extra revenue from the letter mail will go into the track to cover the rest because usually it's $13 to $16. So they just cover $7 of it. And that's how I balance out on the shipping rates. And then over $75, I've
Your
calculated.
time has expired. Judges, please help me thank Nicole Baranowski.
Thank you.
Judges, we have a couple of minutes as we bring in the next student, so please use this time to complete your green sheet and we'll get started momentarily. Judges, please join me in welcoming Anka Chan from the University of Alberta. Please open their report from the link in your email and scroll to their green sheet in your judge handbook. Judges, you will now have 3 minutes to review the report. Judges, please turn your attention to the screen as the video presentation plays.
Half the world's population have periods, but it shocked me when I found out that 12 billion pads are sent to North American landfills every year. That's the weight of almost 2 times of a Canadian city like Calgary. And these pads consist of 90% plastic and 10% cotton, and also contain toxic chemicals. The plastic in these pads is what makes them incredibly hard to break down, taking up to 800 years to completely degrade. Menstruation happens on average for 38 years, and based on a 2018 study, for just 11 women, the lifetime carbon emission of pads is nearly 5 tons. To put it into perspective, that's more than the amount of driving a car for a year. We all have people in our lives who menstruate, mothers, partners, daughters, or friends, and whether or not you menstruate, menstrual waste affects us all. That's what drove us to launch Ruth. At Ruth, our goal is to ruthlessly make sustainable periods easy. The problem with current eco-friendly period options is that they're reusable and require customers to change their habits, which is inconvenient and inaccessible. When chatting with potential customers, we heard a few common complaints come up. It's too messy, period cups are uncomfortable, it didn't fit my body, or I didn't want to worry about washing my menstrual pad. The 123 people we surveyed and interviewed were trying to take steps to live more sustainably. Periods are already tough, and these options aren't perfect for everyone. But the convenient alternative of disposable menstrual pads not only harm the environment, but also contain excessive harmful chemicals. That's where we come in. As women and customers ourselves, we wanted to create a product with the highest standards in mind and offer pads with the same quality that we look for. Our pads are soft, absorbent, plant-based, and made of natural materials. The best part is that they're easily disposable and compostable in just 6 months. According to MarketLine in 2019, sanitary pads accounted for the highest value in the global feminine hygiene market, with $20.4 billion worth of total sales, equivalent to 62.4% of the market's overall value. Menstrual products are a growing need, and sustainable products are an increasing necessity, marked by 7.1 times faster growth than other products despite COVID. Research conducted by NYU in 2019 suggested that 54% of consumer products growth came from sustainably marketed products. This means that consumers are now voting with their dollars for sustainable brands. Our target market of early adopters are eco-conscious young women in North America. Our secondary market are mothers who purchase at local organic retailers to target the moms who are already making conscious household decisions and their daughters who are menstruating. These 2 demographics are only the beginning. Our future plans also include educational outreach about periods and sustainability to middle and high school youth who menstruate, allowing us to reach a younger demographic. Now, our plan involves both building our business and creating innovation. For the next 6 months, we're focused on building our brand recognition and acquiring a growing customer base of people interested in sustainable period options. While this is in place, we'll continue our back-end development of an innovative hemp-based pad to produce Canadian intellectual property. And why hemp? Well, hemp is a growing field of opportunity for period products because it requires 73% less water to grow than cotton and can be up to 3 times more absorbent. Upon completion of product development, our established brand Ruth will serve as a platform to launch this novel biodegradable pad to our existing customers. Pad product development will take place from July to March of next year, and the latter half of 2022 will be dedicated towards securing retail in-store sales contracts. In 2023, we'll expand our product line to other innovative eco-friendly products like tampons, diapers, and adult incontinence products. Our plans are to expand globally and reduce the price point to make it affordable for everyone. But the possibilities for Ruth don't stop there, and sustainable periods are just the beginning. Imagine a future where every single product in your daily life was carbon neutral. That's the future we want. We have two revenue streams, with the main one being e-commerce with the subscription model option. What makes our brand distinct is our commitment to giving back to the communities in most need. Based on customer interviews, we realized that people interested in sustainability are also huge supporters of social initiatives. So we're incorporating a give back donation component to our business model. Customers will also have the ability to customize their subscription box so they have the exact number of pads they'll need each month. Our second revenue stream will come from schools and municipalities to promote menstrual product accessibility. We're starting with the University of Alberta, as we have a memorandum of understanding for them to purchase our pads for September of this year. And our pads will be sold at $7.99 for 15 pads online. Each box costs $4 to make, including packaging. And with two revenue streams, we'll be making $214,000 in revenue in our first year. By selling 600,000 pads, we'll divert 10,000 kilograms of plastic waste, or the weight of 23 polar bears, from entering our landfills just this year. Entering the menstrual health market, where there are big retail players, is risky, and I understood there were some unanswered questions. Would we be able to reach this market, and how do I do this as a first-time entrepreneur? So to mitigate these risks, we started with the beta testing phase to understand, does our product actually meet the standards, and would people actually buy this? The feedback we've gotten so far is phenomenal, and 85% of people would recommend our product to a friend. We're now working with our manufacturers to perfect our pads. Next month, we'll be launching our pads through a crowdfunding campaign to gain traction, grow our customer base, and prepare for our official product release in July of this year. To make all of this happen, we've built an amazing team. Our marketing team has digital design experience, and chemists and engineers are working to refine our product. Our founding team of 2 women have received global recognition and awards. We've been trained through Founder Institute, the biggest pre-seed accelerator in the world, and Next 36, a program that selects 36 of Canada's most promising young entrepreneurs. And through this, we have access to established mentors and alumni. We've generated buzz from CBC and Global News, and recently received $15,000 in grant funding from Community Foundations Canada. We have suppliers in place and eager customers awaiting our product release. At Ruth, we believe that people shouldn't have to compromise between their basic needs and the environment. We'd love your help to bridge the gap between sustainability and convenience by signing up on our website to be notified for our crowdfunding launch. Help us turn red into green. Thank you.
It is now time for the question and answer period. Judges, please submit your questions through the chat function at the bottom of your screen. Click on chat and use the drop-down to ensure you're sending your questions directly to me, moderator Amy Kenyon. And while the questions start coming in, I'm going to have Anka say her name to make sure that her audio is working properly. Anka, could you unmute yourself and say your name?
Yep, my name's Anka Chan.
Perfect, thank you. I will now start the timer. Okay, first question comes from Lisa. What is the plan for helping women store their soiled pads when they're not at home so they can compost it later? Is there some handy travel bag that can be washed and that can reduce any odor?
Yeah, definitely. The wrappers that we're using for the pads themselves right now are also compostable. So people can use the wrapper and wrap their previously soiled pad to carry it to a compostable facility, or if they have their own compost set up at home. And the pads, because they're biodegradable, that means that they can safely break down in the environment without leaching out any harmful chemicals or materials. And so while we understand that landfills, not all landfills are designed to actually have the products break down, for the spaces where the products are going to be breaking down, like for example, if it was tossed into a trash bin, then when it does start to break down on its own, it's not going to leach out any harmful chemicals. So they can feel comfortable with disposing it in the trash cans that are in public washroom facilities or workplace facilities.
Great. Next question is from Puya. Is the absorption of your products truly the same or better than the current products?
Yeah, so that's something that we wanted to validate ourselves too. When we were first testing it as our team, we felt like the absorbency was great, but the beta testing phase that we just conducted further validates that with actual evidence from users that are outside of our team. And so far, the feedback we've gotten say that at least 85% of people rated absorbency as one of the excellent features of the pads. So that helps give us the confidence that the absorbency is actually on par with what people expect.
That's great. There's a second part to Puya's question here. She says, what's your defense against the current plant-based diaper producers expanding into pads?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's interesting because we, on the other hand, are also thinking about adding diapers to our future product line. So I think in one aspect, we have a great understanding of the target market as women ourselves and in the demographic that we're targeting. The way that we seek to first solidify our position in the market is by establishing our brand and making sure that we connect with our users on a very personal level through our social media strategies and based off of creating a brand feel that users will be able to trust and recognize. And in partnership with that, we want to really understand our customers by catering to one of the factors that we see that they value of social impact. And so by incorporating that social give back donation component to each purchase, where customers can feel like they're contributing to a company that's mission is beyond just making money or having an economic impact. They are buying into our whole brand mission and value of making sustainability an easy choice and also giving back to our local communities. So that's one way that we're thinking about it.
That's great. The next question comes from John. He says, what are you doing currently in order to secure your August 2021 B2B sales of $20,000? And then the second part to that question is, why is there a jump of $200,000 in sales in May 2022?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think you're looking at the chart in the 2-page report. And just to clarify, I'm sorry that this wasn't clear, but the numbers on the on that table are unit items and not dollar amounts. But the way that we're going about our B2B sales is we have hired our very first employee actually for this summer, and she's working specifically on outreach and communications with schools and municipalities and drafting our sales proposals and setting up those relationships. And so each order we're anticipating is going to be from 20,000 to 25,000 pads for an order dollar amount of $5,400 per order. So that amounts to a total of 5 B2B sales that we will have from August to October. And the 200,000 unit value, that's for the retail partnership. And so we are assuming that our very first retail sale that we are able to get will be of 200,000 pads.
Okay, great. The next question comes from Tracy. Will this product be accepted in municipal composting programs?
Yeah, that's an awesome question. We're actually in the process of running some pilot studies with local municipal composting facilities to test it out. So far, anecdotally, this is not based off of a lab result, but people have been able to compost these pads in home compost. So that's pretty promising to us that if it can undergo that degradation in a home compost, which doesn't have as intensive of the compost facilities as an industrial composter, then it stands that it will likely be able to be composted at the municipalities. But we're working on that to make sure that we can actually provide a list of facilities on our website so our customers can ensure that the products will be able to be composted.
That's great. The next question comes from Sarah. Can you please repeat whether you've explored opportunities to obtain patents?
Yeah, so at the moment, so in the past, our business journey has been kind of interesting because we started out as a student group at the University of Alberta, working solely on the hemp-based pad. But upon launching as a business, we realized that we wanted to broaden our scope beyond just looking at hemp as an innovative material, which is why for the pads that we are offering for our initial product launch, they're made from bamboo and wood pulp and a bio-based waterproof backing. And so all that being said, that initial product is not patentable at the moment, but we do have future plans for looking into the intellectual property that we can generate with the hemp-based pad for our next developmental iteration.
Great. I've got two questions here from Allison. The first one is, will you be offering multiple sizes or absorbency rates?
Yeah. That's something that came up in our beta testing. And we realized right now we are planning to offer 2 sizes, one for day pads and one for night pads. But in the future, we're also going to be looking into maxi pads because some people appreciate even more coverage and longer backing. And we've actually been working with our manufacturer to assess whether we can offer an intermediate size as well that can be more customized to people's specific period flow.
Great. And the second question from Allison here is, have you reached out to any department stores or grocery stores about stocking in store? Many people grab their sanitary pads while at Shoppers or Loblaws, and wondering if you have explored outside the e-commerce option.
Yeah, it's something that we have in our planning for sure for the future. The reason why we're hesitant to reach out right away is because we want to establish a really strong understanding of our target customers. And the best way that we see that we can do that is through e-commerce, where we can actually track the users' buying habits and understand more clearly the demographic that our users are coming from. And so that's why we decided to go with e-commerce as our very first option. And we're also aware of the stocking fees that are associated with putting out products in retail stores, but we do have connections in the retail space that we are hoping to leverage once we get the order volumes that we anticipate in the next coming months.
Great. The next question is from John. He says the hemp market is still relatively new, so how are you securing a reliable source of hemp fiber?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So one company that we've been talking to from the very beginning is called Bass Fiber Technologies, and they've just received huge investments. I think it was about $4.6 million from Natural Products Canada, and they're pretty well supported, and they're developing this hemp non-woven material that is going to be essential for our future development with the hemp-based pads. So we've been in contact with them from the very start, and thankfully Alberta is one of the largest producers of hemp in Canada, and being situated here provides us access to a lot of the big players in the hemp community, and we're connected quite well with the Edmonton entrepreneurial community. So thankfully, we've had lots of connections to the hemp space through that. And we're also working with NRC IRAP and closely with our ITA, the tech advisor, to ensure that we can also leverage as much governmental support as we can to fund the innovation of this novel hemp-based product.
Great. The next question is from Charles. Will you have a solution for the customers who would prefer to reduce the carbon footprint of the monthly shipping? For example, distribution via zero waste stores?
Yeah, definitely. One way that we've been thinking about being creative with shipping is charging people on a monthly basis for their period products, but only shipping out quarterly so that we can reduce some of the shipping costs. It's still a model that we want to test out and see what our customers really prefer, but we do understand that shipping does have a big environmental impact, and something that we're also considering doing is purchasing the carbon offsets and including that in our pricing to make sure that we're making our environmental footprint as low as possible. But on the note about the low waste stores, that's something that we are definitely considering for our plans as we head into the retail space. And we are connected with some online retailers actually that are in the low waste area. And so we're kind of starting with the low waste online retail and hoping to have our products stocked in their stores, and then moving on and applying that same model to the in-person stores.
Great. A quick question from Corinne. She asks, where are you manufacturing?
Right now, our manufacturers are in Asia.
Great. And then a question here from Dimitri. Are there any health and safety regulations that need to be considered?
Yeah, so according to Health Canada, menstrual pads are not considered a medical device. So there isn't necessarily a Health Canada approval that we need for this product. However, in order to ensure the full safety and actually certify the safety, we've done microbial testing with third-party laboratories in Canada. So we do have that certification and that confidence that we can provide to our customers that the pads are fully safe.
Your time has expired. Judges, please join me in congratulating Anka Chan. Thank you, Anka.
Thank you all.